Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Rafaat. This is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And it seems like yesterday I read an integrated writing practice test that you submitted, and I went through and did a video correcting all of the errors and organizational issues there. Now today, you've paid me to take a look at your independent writing practice test number 7. And let's take a look at the question first and let's see your response. You say it is generally agreed that society benefits from the work of its members. Compare the contributions of artists to society with the contributions of scientists to society. Which type of contribution do you think is valued more by society? Give specific reasons to support your answer. Alright, so let's take a look at the essay first in terms of your grammar, your punctuation, spelling, and all those things. Then the second time we'll look at it more in terms of content and organization. So first of all, let's see how many words we have here. I'm going to check quickly here. 244 words. So you want to develop more than this. In fact, you want to look more toward, I'm going to say 350. So you're about 106 words short, I think, of what you need. But your organization is very good. Alright, let's take a look at the beginning. At every career in our lives, we can find specialists who add a great value to humans. For example, artists and scientists have made their contributions to society. We can compare each group according to their contributions. We can find many scientists who create important inventions. On the other hand, artists have their attractive designs in many cities. You know what? You have 0 errors in this paragraph. That's pretty good. Rafaat, good job. All right, let's go to the next one. And maybe before I go, I'm probably a more terrible speller than you are. Let me go ahead and check through your spelling. So, benefited, we want to get rid of that extra T there. Consumption, won't worry about this right now. Proceed changes to P-R-O-C-E-D. It's not bad. Alright, let's keep going. Scientists have benefited society, you want to say, in many ways. Their discoveries have contributed to agriculture, medicine, and technology. Now, let's vary your grammar a little bit, okay? I'm starting to get excited. Now you're giving me a chance to fool around with your grammar. Now, pay attention. Wait a minute here before we get... okay, I already have your other copy. Okay, I'm going to take this idea. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to paste it here. That way you don't have 2 short sentences. You have one. You have one sentence, and we've made the one idea into what's called an adjective clause. Now my next question is, Rafaat, what is the adjective clause connector that we can use to replace the word there? You might want to pause the video to think about it. Did you think about that? Scientists whose discoveries have contributed to agriculture, medicine, and technology have benefited society in many ways. Also, scientists can solve many problems which face the world today, such as poverty, global warming, and energy consumption. For example, Newton postulated theories to a better understanding of gravity and the universe, and Einstein through his theory of relativity, helped us to better understand the relationship between time and space. Their theories are effective until this moment. Now, we got to do more than this, because remember, we're looking for 100 extra words here. We need to make these body paragraphs a little bit fatter. Of course, the question is, how do we do it? Now, you give really if we go by your paragraph, I'm going to be honest with you here. You created the topic sentence, not me. You said scientists whose discoveries have contributed to agriculture, medicine, and technology have benefited society. Now, if you mention agriculture, and then you mention medicine, and then you mention technology, there you go. You want to give examples from those three areas because that's your topic sentence. The question is, do you want to organize the paragraph or not? Now, if you say yes, then my next response is, what you do in the topic sentence controls what happens in the body. So you have too many big ideas. You have agriculture, you have medicine, you have technology, you have poverty, you have global warming, you have energy consumption, but then you just give one example about Newton and also Einstein, and I'm still not exactly sure how they relate to these other key points. So let's keep this paragraph here, and I'll say, invented the tractor. To plow their fields. We probably have to do this for parallel structure to feed, get rid of this. To feed not only the people in his respective country, elsewhere. Furthermore, you might say something like this. You might say, I'm going to talk about AIDS. I'm going to talk about the doctor's impact on AIDS. Most people have heard of AIDS, the acquired immune deficiency syndrome, even though doctors, even though they have not found a cure yet, doctors have in recent years developed medicines to treat AIDS patients has had AIDS he is still alive and well due to these new medicines. Alright, so what do we have? We've talked about the tractor, which relates to your idea of agriculture. We talked about the AIDS idea, which relates to your idea of medicine. And now we can talk about technology. iPads, let's say thousands of other useful devices. Okay, I think we're done there. This paragraph is probably a little bit too fat. I'm probably overdoing it a little bit. Yeah, 178 words for that. Now, a paragraph should be between 50 and 150 words, right? So probably I'm doing a little too much there. But what I'm saying is you brought up the idea of agriculture, medicine, and technology, right? but you didn't really support any of those specific things. I'm just trying to show you in this paragraph how you could support those ideas. Now, of course, if the paragraph is getting a little bit too fat, we can simply talk about agriculture and medicine. That's it. We can get rid of technology. So if we got rid of technology, that means we can delete everything in the paragraph from here down. Now, I'm just going to keep it in here for the purposes of this. Now, what you wrote was actually good. There's no problem with what you wrote, but I'm just saying that it didn't really match the agriculture, medicine, and technology ideas that you stated in the beginning, which is a topic sentence that you're using there. So what you have to do, Rafaat, is make sure that you have a little bit better connection of ideas from your topic statement and then to the appropriate details that you're using in the paragraphs. Now, I'm going to cut this. Now, I don't know. We may use this at some point, so let me go down to the end. Yeah, I think that this idea is going to work in your final paragraph. I got a good feeling. Okay, let's go to the next one. Second. And let's see how long you have. Second, artists make effective contributions to magnificent museums. Actually, we can't imagine or express all the effective touches. Of course, every artist has his own special touch. Each one of them has his own style, such as Michelangelo. You might say Leonardo da Vinci. And so on. You say every culture has its ability to make an attractive tourism. I'm going to say an attractive, let's say tourist destination. So every culture has its ability to make an attractive tourist destination to whatever is, use passive voice here, whatever is reflected in the traditions of every country and its unique visions I'm going to put a comma here and let's use an independent clause. And its unique visions are like a mirror to its society. You might say something. You need an example here. For example, in Italy, Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel hundreds of years ago. Many painstaking years. beautiful work of art. Let's cut this. A popular destination from tourists. So we're trying to develop this paragraph a little more than what we have. The main thing is to just point out the idea. You brought up the idea of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, I put in there, and so on. And I put this example. For example, in Italy, Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel hundreds of years ago. The project took many painstaking years, but he finished this magnificent project. You might say, but after he finished this magnificent project, people came from around the world to see this beautiful work of art. Even today, Italy, due to its many contributions from its artists, is a popular destination for tourists. We can just get rid of this. We can get rid of the preposition. That's what I should have done before. It's a popular tourist destination. Now let's see how we're doing on the word length, right? So I'm adding a little bit more in there to develop your ideas just a little bit more. I think we're getting closer to what we want. Now it's too much. .418 words, but you can never be too much. It's probably not reasonable to expect to write this type of detail in 30 minutes, obviously, right? Okay, let's go to the last one, your conclusion. Now, so far, Rafaat, you have answered this question. You've organized your essay according to the prompt. You compare the scientist and the artist, and then you get to okay, so you say, in my opinion, we can find a way to live without scientists because in every career we can find specialists. I think that history can proceed without scientists, but it is not the same without artists. We need actually, in this hard life in the 20th century, which faith. This is where you get your 3.0. I think Jacob gave you a 3.0 out of 5 on this, which is around 20 points out of 30. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, is with the beginning, the first few paragraphs, I think you were fine. I mean, you were pretty close to 3.75 or even 4.0. Now, I was showing you how you can develop your ideas a little more than what you did. But you get to the last part here, you kind of fall off a cliff. So you ran out of time, you didn't have the vocabulary or the language or whatever to finish it. Even this by saying, I think that. You don't have to say that. Just say, history can proceed without scientists. But it will not be the same without artists. We need We need artists and what you're trying to say, what you didn't say, and I agree with you, by the way, in some respects, the economy right now stinks. Unemployment is high. We need somewhere to go where we can relax. We can relax from our worries. Even people who make movies, they're actually artists, right? They design these movies. They write scripts. They work on these special effects. In many cases, they have to use computer-generated images and things, have to draw up the backdrops of the movies and all that. So I think that artists, what you're saying is, it's a way for us to relax from the stresses of our society. Am I right? I kind of feel that's what you're trying to say here. So we need artists such as ours. So history can proceed without scientists, but it will not be the same without artists. We need artists, especially during hard economic times such as ours. And these depressed people can get joy from the results of artists who paint, sing, write, and create. People can relieve their stresses by looking at paintings. Now what I'm doing here, this is important here, so you got to kind of wrap your head around a little bit here, is I said paint, sing, write, and create. Now I create another sentence that develops each of these ideas, and I do it in the exact order. So these unemployed people can relieve their stresses by looking at paintings in museums. That connects to the word paint. Listen to music by their favorite composing artists. By looking, I have to say here, listening. movie directors. You know, we don't have to say all this, so they can get joy. These depressed people can get joy. I'm going to get rid of this. It's called editing. We're never done as writers. Here, I think I got it. For example, unemployment is high in many countries right now, and these depressed people can get joy by looking at paintings in museums, listening to music by their favorite composing artists, reading exciting novels and short stories, and watching movies. I should probably use passive. Reading exciting novels and short stories from the popular authors of the day, and watching movies created from their favorite movie directors. Greater than those of scientists. There, we got it. And we're getting close. Now, why did I use the word those? It's a good question, Rafaat. What do you think about that? Why not just say this? All of these benefits convince me that artists' contributions to our society are greater than those of scientists. I use the word those. Those refers back to contributions. I don't want to repeat contributions twice, so I say it that way. You see what I'm doing here? Now let's take a look at it one more time. Now you had 244 words. Now mine's going to be over the top, 484, which is a little bit too much. But like I said, it's very easy to get rid of. If in this paragraph, I can take the idea of technology and I can simply get rid of that point, and then I can delete everything there. Have agriculture, how about this? And medicine. Check this out. Now, now I got rid of technology, so that means I get rid of this. Now the paragraph is looking a little bit more realistic, right? Okay, now let's see how we're doing. Probably a little bit more realistic. We're at 422, so it's getting more realistic now, so I actually deleted quite a bit there. Okay, let's read it one more time. Let me check spelling one more time too. Like I said, I'm a terrible speller. Yeah, I have not. Da Vinci, ignore. Magnificent. Yeah, it's M-A-G-N-I. Project. It's called a typo. Contributions, another typo. Right? Now let's take a look at it one more time. And like I told you before, Rafaat, I think that the score Jacob gave you is pretty accurate because of your last paragraph really drove you off the cliff. That's really what happened. All right, let's take a look at this now. At every career in our lives, we can find specialists who add a great value for humans. For example, artists and scientists have made their contributions to society. We can compare each group according to their contributions. We can find many scientists who create important inventions. On the other hand, artists have their attractive designs in many cities. First, scientists whose discoveries have contributed to agriculture and medicine have benefited society. A scientist many years ago invented the tractor, which made it, we want to say made it, not up, which made it much easier for a farmer to plow. No, I should say maybe farmers. The reason I did that is I'm going to change this to plural, not a farmer, because farmers is plural, and then we have this is also plural. Notice how fields is plural, hence resulting in a huge increase in crop production to feed not only the people, in their respective countries. It's interesting how one choice, right? Depending on how we use it, like farmers, by using the word farmers, it affects everything else in the sentence. Farmers, their, fields, their, even countries, plural, 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 plural. But also those living elsewhere. Furthermore, years ago, even though they have not found a cure yet, doctors have in recent years developed medicines to treat AIDS patients, helping them to extend their lives to their normal mortality expectancy rate. Magic Johnson, a famous basketball player, has had AIDS for nearly 20 years, and he is still alive and well due to these new medicines. Next paragraph. Okay, second. Artists make effective contributions to many magnificent museums. Actually, we can't imagine or express all the effective touches. Of course, every artist has his special touch. Each one of them has his own style, such as Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and so on. Every culture has its ability to make an attractive tourist destination to whatever is reflected in the traditions of every country, and its unique visions are like a mirror to society. For example, in Italy, Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel hundreds of years ago. The project took many painstaking years, but after he finished this magnificent project, people came from around the world to see this beautiful work of art. Even today, Italy, due to its many contributions from its artists, is a popular tourist destination. In my opinion. Exactly, I love this. By saying in my opinion, it now tells me, it cues me. You're telling me, Rafaat, that you're getting to your own position, your own opinion. The first two paragraphs were more of an objective discussion of the contributions of the scientist and the artist. You get to the final paragraph where you say, in my opinion, you're now changing. It's a good cue. You've done a good job in this essay. Your topic sentences have been pretty good in terms of defining the purpose of those paragraphs, and I like that. The TOEFL is going to like that. It says, we can find a way to live without scientists because in every career we can find specialists. History can proceed without scientists, but it will not be the same without artists. We need artists, especially during hard economic times such as ours. This is where I had to help you a little bit because you ran out of what to say in that final paragraph. So I was just kind of thinking in your brain and looking at what you were saying, and I'm just giving you a possibility of how you could have completed the final paragraph of your writing response. You say, especially during hard economic times such as ours. For example, unemployment is high in many countries right now, and these depressed people can get joy by looking at paintings in museums, listening to music by their favorite composing artists, reading exciting novels and short stories from the contemporary authors of the day, and watching movies created from their favorite movie directors. All of these benefits convince me that artists' contributions to our society are greater than those of scientists. Now, it's important what I did here at the end. This is important, Rafaat. And why is that? Go back to the question. Which type of contribution do you think is valued more by society? It's a good idea to finish the final paragraph, the last line of the final paragraph, by saying what I just said there, because that kind of, it ties everything together and it completes the final paragraph. That's the final piece in the puzzle that you need. Okay? So there we go. So during this particular writing lesson and tutorial, I went over your essay. I made some grammatical corrections. I corrected a few misspellings, some punctuation and so on. And then in addition to that, I did make a few content and some organizational changes that you could also see in the paper. So anyway, Rafaat, thank you for completing this particular practice test, and keep up the good work. All right? You're a great student.